Hello guys, back again with the Alrasta channel. And this time, as always, we will be back to talk about the best Donghua series, and of course, it is Slay the Gods. The scene begins after exterminating the main body of the snake demon on Wu Shuji's body. Hong Ying and Xiao Nan arrived quite late. They found that the demon snake's main body had already been defeated, while Team 136 felt that everything was now over. In the other direction, Qing Yu was silent. He thought that there seemed to be something he had missed. The demon snake itself could share vision, and it should have many ways to avoid being seen. Then why did the creature even let its real body be seen? It seemed that there was something that the creature was trying to hide, and from the very beginning there was one person who never spoke according to the truth according to Qing Yu. This would be the last job he had to complete. Qing Yu suddenly fired a shot at Li Yifei, which turned out to be from Demon Snake. Since the Demon Snake couldn't be separated from its host, Li Yifei inevitably had to die by the Night Watcher Team 136. The scene moved to the detention cell area in the Asylum of the God. When the fear of Demon Snake, who was previously disguised as Wu Shuji, reached 70%, the creature's fear was finally able to talk. She revealed that, as the Demon Snake clan, all she wanted to do was hide and live in the world, mingling with humans. Until finally, a person from the Church of Ancient God appeared and asked her to find the Agent of God, Michael, because she couldn't refuse and resist. So inevitably, she had to do it in order to survive. During the incident in the alley, while sharing a vision with Li Yifei, Lin Qi was found to be the target. Demon Snake's original plan was to trap Lin Qi at school and take him away. But everything changed when it was discovered that Lin Qi had a visual perception ability that was able to see through Demon Snake's disguise, and he came with Night Watcher members. That's why she changed her plan from just wanting to capture Lin Qi to wanting to kill him, because Lin Qi was considered a threat. Lin Qi said, "Is it because you Demon Snake guys can't fight back that they resort to dirty tricks?" The demon in Yifei's body explained that if only Li Yifei hadn't blocked her at that time, then Lin Qi would have died a long time ago. This Li Yifei was completely different from the other hosts, because after being infected, he could still maintain his personality. In the previously modified plan, Yifei was supposed to be asleep when the monster took over his body, but he suddenly woke up and gained control of his body. He blocked the attacks aimed at Lin Qi. Although Wen Qimo had erased his memories of that night, Yifei still remembered everything. He felt guilty for leaving Lin Qi in the alley during the ghost mask attack incident, but he was actually a very good human being. As Lin Qi approached Yifei's cell, another system notification appeared with two options: destroy his soul or recruit. While wearing a sad expression, Yifei wondered if everything that happened in his life, starting from his family and himself, was just a fake. Of course, everything is fake, but you have the word Lin Qi, who has received help from him. And now, if he really wants to live, Lin Qi can give Li Yifei a choice. But Li Yifei will not live in the previous world, but in a very different place, and the choice will depend on him. After Li Yifei cried for a while, a paper contract and a pen appeared from the surface. This is where Lin Qi got his first nurse. The story related to the Nantu demon snake that had been in Li Yifei's body since childhood was just the past. And from now on, he will continue to live a new life as himself. Turning to the courtyard of the Asylum of the God, the goddess Nyx, who was there, was approached by Lin Qi, who was about to introduce someone to the goddess, and it was Li Yifei. When looking from toe to head, The goddess Nyx gave Li Yifei a sardonic look.
你好。
But it was only for a moment until the goddess happily got up from her wheelchair and hugged Li Yifei while calling her grandson. Of course, Nyx thought that Li Yifei was the child of Danadus, aka Lin Qi. Lin Qi asks Li Yifei to just go with the flow, because now his job is to look after the mentally ill patients and take care of this hospital. Of course, although initially a bit confused, Li Yifei began to try to familiarize himself with this very strange new job, taking care of crazy patients. But the patients are gods. Where is there a job like this? Along with that, the patient's recovery rate increased to 23%.
太好了，我答应你，真的。
After the remnants of the chaos in the school were cleared up, Lin Qi reported that the incident this time had something to do with the Church of Ancient God, followed by Wen Qimo relaying that the Nantu snakehead that Lin Qi had slashed had disappeared. Elsewhere, the grandmother who had been taking care of Li Yifei in the real world received a letter saying that Li Yifei was now studying very hard at his new job and not to worry anymore. There was also some money sent by Lin Qi there. Of course, Li Yifei would be paid because he would be working at the Asylum of God. There was also his younger brother, who came and immediately went berserk because he wasn't allowed to play games anymore before he could get into a famous high school. So the laptop his younger brother is holding can only access everything about knowledge. Somewhere Qing Yu was seen carrying a suitcase and entered an old building. It was the place where this man channeled what made him so happy, a secret laboratory. Who would have thought that a high school kid would have such a great hiding place? And who would have thought that he was also the one who had taken away the head of the Nantu demon snake? The psychopathic nature of this man emerged as he fearlessly wielded a scalpel and dismembered the monster's head like a fruit, scattering it and forming a core from the material. And so he continues his strange research. Meanwhile, Lin Qi spends his days practicing again. And this time, it is time for a sword training session with Captain Chen Mu Ye. In the midst of the sword fighting that was going on, the captain said that in a few days it was time for Lin Qi to depart for the Night Watcher training camp, which he had to do because attending the training camp was an obligation for every member of the organization. He asked him to do his best so as not to embarrass Team 136, who had been mentoring him all this time. And Lin Qi promised that he would not be embarrassed.
训练吧，那必经之路，也许在那里别给我们136小队丢脸。放心吧，队长。
Elsewhere, Xiao Pinge, the head of the Shanjing City branch of Night Watcher, is currently making a proposal to move the location of the Night Watcher training camp from Shanjing City to Chang'an City. Geng Yuan, the chief training instructor, wondered why they had to make the move, and here Pinge simply said that it was a predetermined fate. Of course, this answer did not satisfy the chief instructor. That's why Xiaoping explained again that, in addition to the Night Watcher's main manager having already made the approval, among the dozens of names listed as candidates, there were several names that were marked, and they were people who were considered to bring great changes to the world. And of course, among the list of marked names, there is Lin Qi's name in it. Moving to another place, where we will be shown with some gentlemen who are playing mahjong in a hot spring. And among the gentlemen was a young man named Bai Li Tuming, a son of a conglomerate from Bai Li's big company. The gentlemen were quite annoyed because, in all the time they had been playing the game, they had never once won against Tuming. It wasn't long before a group of people in neat suits suddenly appeared and walked in a very structured manner. And of course, they were the personal bodyguards escorting the conglomerate's son. Tuming asked the men not to get angry with him. They were just playing a game for fun. While Tuming was leaving, the bodyguards began to approach the men and, of course, made them feel scared. But who would have thought that instead of being beaten up by the bodyguards issued a box of gold watches to each of the men as a thank you because they were willing to give up their precious time to play with the young master of Bai Li's company. Not just a rich young master, Tuming was also a training camp candidate, just like Lin Qi. He had also been marked on the training candidate list before. He thought Chang'an City was a dirty city, a place where birds defecated. But no matter what, he would still go to the training camp. Who knew he could meet some nice new friends? Well, that's how it is when rich people are bored, guys. The scene moves to another place. 3 street thugs are seen harassing a schoolgirl in an alley. They were curious if there was a pink Hello Kitty hanger under the schoolgirl's skirt like the one in her bag. At that moment, from another direction, an empty soda can lands on the face of one of the street thugs, knocking him out instantly. And it was the work of a group of schoolboys who were also thugs, but they only liked to brawl, not bother girls. The group was headed by a young man named Shen Qingzhu, the #1 troublemaker in Linjiang School. Shen Qingzhu immediately ordered his members to take care of the street thugs, while he himself would take care of the scared schoolgirls. After hanging the hoodlums from a high place, Qingzhu hoped that after he left, all the members were required to stick to the rules within the group. Of course, he was also a camp trainee, and his name was also marked. However, before leaving for the training camp, as closure, he brawled with other school kids first. The scene was moved to another place located in Jihua Mountain, a man named Cao Yuan. A sinner is secluding himself in this inland mountain temple. He's secluded himself from society in the hope that all the sins he's committed in the past can be washed away. And of course, guys, Cao Yuan is the last person marked on the list of candidates for the Night Watcher training camp. The monk who acts as his guide during his time there suggests that Cao Yuan go for training in Chang'an City. He also gave him some advice with deep meaning. He also reminded him that while he was in Chang'an, Cao Yuan would meet a great man. If he could take advantage of this opportunity, then not only would he be able to wash away the sins in his body, but he would also have very positive results. What kind of great person was this monk talking about? Cao Yuan asked, his stance unwavering. 10 years in the night, the savior of this world. That was the short sentence said by the monk. Even though he still didn't know clearly, Cao Yuan would definitely try to find that great person. A white-haired man who occupied the number 3 seat in the Church of Ancient God apologized to his superiors for letting the Night Watcher members get the God Agent first. But according to him, it was not a big deal because his party had sent several strong representatives who would return to take the God Agent, aka Lin Qi. Among them is Lisa, a green-haired woman in a green dress who is a Medusa agent. She will act with a man who is very close to her and occupies the 16th seat in the Church of the Ancient God named Lu Liang, the tattooed man. There was also Han Xiaoyun, who occupied the 13th seat of the Ancient God Church. He often carries out his work by controlling a few people who are loyal to him. Taking a divine agent out of the Night Watcher's hands meant declaring war on the organization. And in the end, if the target could not be recruited, then they would make Lin Qi die. At the secret headquarters of Chang'an City's Night Watcher branch, while Lin Qi and the other members were on their way to the campsite, Hong Ying was asked by the captain that night to retrieve some files, but when she opened the door to the office, suddenly, there was a big explosion inside the headquarters, but Hong Ying's good fortune still survived. And when she looked outside, there was a robed figure, and Hong Ying knew that he was a member of the Church of Ancient God. The attack incident became a declaration of war between the two sides. And this all happened because Lin Qi was a contested figure who had sparked the fire of war that could no longer be avoided.
为了他，
Lin Qi, who knows nothing and is now breathing fresh air in the Jiangnan mountainous area, not far from Changnan City. So that's the storyline of Slay the Gods Episode 6. Okay, thank you very much for watching until the end, and don't forget to support you with likes, subscribes, and comments. And the last word from me, bye.